My name is Julia. I'm an artist, sculpture worker, organizer, sometimes designer. I'm very interested in creating collectively and collective learning.
My name is Dominique. I'm also an artist. I like to explore different materials and making masks as well, which is a big focus for me right now.
So the Monstrous Masquerade took place on the 21st of December, which is the longest night of the year, the winter solstice. And usually it was always a moment of darkness, and it was more of an introspective moment. And then I was wondering, how can something more kind of outward come out of this this moment of darkness? The Little Red Kitchen, which is a mutual aid and cooking collective, they were making dinner for us. Most cultures have some sort of monsters that haunt them, and monsters are usually something that threatens a certain norm or kind of an embodiment of an underlying anxiety. Speaking with Jetta also, NDNMK Solutions, who works a lot with movement and storytelling and sound, who was approaching the monster also as something way more personal in a way, like what are the monsters within us and how are these internal contradictions also linked to the larger systemic framework that we're living in. First, we listened to a sound piece meant to bring people into like a different space, and then there were different voices addressing different aspects of the monstrous. And then Jetta invited us to feel like we're embodying something of our fears and imagine yourself, visualizing yourself transforming into that monster. We tend to gloss over our own darkness, but I think it's important to recognize this and also be honest about it, and maybe even see if you can use it as a tool in a way. So then for the mask making, somebody brought to my attention the work of Pyromuse, Dominique.
I had always really been, manifesting my fears into something physical. Escapism, that's a big part of why I do it. So much media consumption or overconsumption where we get to see everything going on in the world all the time. A lot of the time it's negative, horrible things that make you want to either retreat into yourself or act it out in some other way. Turning that into art is something that helped me a lot. When I think of escapism, I don't see it as I'm completely disconnecting from what is negative. More putting that energy into something else, like creating something tangible, still very much connected.
But that's maybe also more a way of transforming emotions rather than escaping them.
Yeah. We decorated a shopping cart with some branches and bells and filled it with a kettle, brought some tea and coffee and glühwein with us to give to people on the way.
When we were outside, actually, strangely, I realized people staring at me, but then I also felt very protected by the mask. Getting into a different body and being outside, and you're relating to the city in a very different way.
A lot of people felt this chance to behave differently and gain some power just because of a piece of cardboard. It's really cool, I think.
The way we inhabit the world is very much through stories. That's kind of tell us who are we, who are the people surrounding us, what are the places. How can you create other stories that kind of re-thread the emotional fabric?